let's move on to our wide receiver draft. This is our last draft of the year as we're getting ready for the NBA season to start. And we're doing probably one of the, and there's the shades. This to me is going to be our best draft because there's just so many guys. And in our list, there's guys missing. Like, for example, CD Lamb is missing on this list. We could have easily drafted 60 or 70 players. But of course,
we'd be here until 3:00 in the morning, so we didn't do that.
So it doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're drafting the 45. We'll go a little bit faster as we go towards the middle of the rounds. And so let's get started.
1 second, Robert.
Oh, you are copying this, yes. Shane, you will have the first pick of the draft. Brandon will have the second pick, and then I will have the third pick. We are going 12 rounds.
The pressure.
15 rounds, 45 players.
Where are your shades, Robert?
I'm wearing – these are – so if we were outside, these would turn into shades.
Those are not shades. No, we're not outside, so.
I know. But if we were outside, these are transparent.
You're not cool enough. You're not part of the cool guy squad.
I also want to, see better during this draft, so.
Wow.
Oh, you don't want to get a headache halfway through?
Yeah, seriously.
Pathetic.
I mean, I'm fine.
You care about your brain? What?
No, I mean, I can see fine taking my glasses off, but it's at the same time, I'd rather have my glasses on for this.
I swear, everybody must think we're a bunch of weirdos.
I mean, they wouldn't be wrong.
That's true.
What seriously is happening in this show today?
I like it.
What seriously ever happens in this show, Robert? That's what I respond to you with.
I guess so. Are you ready, Brandon?
Indeed.
All right. Shane, you're on the clock with the first overall pick in the wide receiver draft.
All right. First overall pick. I'm going to take Michael Thomas. Because this guy, he, in my opinion, well, okay, first of all, the giant 300-pound elephant in the room, he had the record for most receptions in a season, which is an incredible milestone. Yes, part of that is because their lack of receivers, but whatever. I don't care. He still did it. But not only that, but he also is, in my opinion, probably the best route runner in the NFL. And he has an incredible pair of hands as well. So Michael Thomas, number one overall for me.
He was my first overall pick as well. The reality is his record set it apart. I mean, to beat Marvin Harrison's record is just ridiculous. He just had an incredible season. He deserves more recognition. And in this sense, I think that's why he would go number one. Brandon, you're on the clock at second overall.
I will take I'll take Mike Evans.
Wow, second overall. Interesting selection. Why would you take Mike Evans at this spot?
I think so. I watch a lot of Tampa Bay, and I think he's someone who is just kind of always on the cusp of breaking out. He's a really good consistent guy, but he gets hurt a lot. And he's kind of a guy that I'm like, you know what? I'd rather have him when he breaks out than have somebody else have him. Because I think even before he breaks out, he still has the capability of being a good pair of hands. So.
Yeah, I mean, I like Mike Evans a lot. We'll have another excellent Bucs wide receiver as well come off the board early in this draft. I think his route tree is awesome, but again, the injury concerns are there as well. I'm on the clock here with the third overall selection, and I'm going to take Julio Jones. I think you can say 1A, 1B for a lot of these guys. The receiver class is just really stacked. But Julio, he was my number 2 receiver. He falls for me at number 3. Look, I hate that people keep going on about how he doesn't get many touchdowns. Chill out. The guy's just a great overall receiver. Touchdowns are just a number for some of these guys, and for Julio, it is just a number. He's a great receiver. He deserves to go in the first round. Julio Jones. Shane, you're on the clock to start the second round.
This one, God, this one is tricky. I am gonna say Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
Because I think this guy is one of the best deep threats possibly ever. The guy is so fast. I mean, he's probably the fastest player in the NFL right now. And he is so agile. And he's also a great route runner. And so therefore, I will take him at number 4 overall.
His speed is so good. I had him at number 5. His speed just sets him apart from any other receiver in the league. So good selection there. Brandon, you're on the clock with the 5th overall pick.
Can you scroll up?
Yes.
No.
Am I the only one that actually made a ranking list for this draft?
I kind of did.
Some basis.
I'm going to go with Amari Cooper.
Ooh.
Which he's someone who was really good with Dallas, and then he got traded.
Or with Oakland.
Yeah. And then he got traded.
Vegas.
And I think this wide receiver draft is one that I don't think needs a lot of explanation. Like, there's so many top tier wide receivers. I think it just is kind of a matter of, do you go with the guy who's like I feel like there's one guy who's like way better above everyone, which is Michael Thomas. And like Julio Jones is pretty good, but Michael Thomas is like 1. And then everybody else is kind of together. So
you could make an argument that it's like 1A, 1B, 1C. The main thing with Amari Cooper is what he did in Dallas. I mean, the reality is he came into Dallas and made Dak a better quarterback. And that alone would justify him at this number 5 spot. I had him at number 9, personally.
Damn.
This is my 3rd overall player on my board. I'm going to take Davante Adams. Davante is their receiving core. He is the only Packers receiver eligible in this draft. There's no other Packers receiver of incredible note for this draft. And that says a lot about how the Packers have drafted, but it also says a lot about the greatness of Davante Adams and how much Aaron Rodgers trusts him. And eventually, Jordan Love will do the same. Davante Adams ends the 2nd round. Shane, you're on the clock to start the 3rd round.
Well, I'm going to go with a guy that I honestly thought would go in the 1st round, and that's DeAndre Hopkins. Because, I mean, this guy, kind of like Adams, last year he was receiving core. And I think he'll fit in really nicely in Arizona. I mean, he's a great all-around player. I mean, there's incredible route runner, really good at catching in traffic. So, yeah, D-Hop.
He was my number 4 receiver. The reality of the situation is this trade was just dumb. I still can't get over that he's in Arizona. Oh my God, him and Kyler Murray are just going to go crazy on the NFC West and the whole NFL as a whole. Brandon, you are on the clock with the 2nd pick of the 3rd round.
Well, Shane took who I was gonna take. Um. I will take Cooper Kupp. He's one of the rare pieces that the Rams still have, who they haven't, overpaid. You could arguably make the argument that they've underpaid. So,
He had a great stretch to the first half of the season. Then they played the Cincinnati Bengals in London, I believe week 8. He popped out, and then it kind of was a rough second half for him. Still just an incredible receiver. Because of that rough second half, I had him at 10, but still a great selection there. And then with the last pick of the third round, I'm going to take the other Bucs receiver in Chris Godwin. You might say it's a little high. One season doesn't necessarily determine your entire career. But with Brady, he's going to be even better, I think. He's just a great receiver. He deserves a lot more recognition. He was 1 or 2, or actually, I think he finished as wide receiver 4 in fantasy last year or something around there. Just a ridiculous guy, kind of came out of nowhere. So, yeah, you might say he's a little high at number 7 overall for me. And in the third round of this draft. But for me, I just think his potential is through the roof, and that's why I put him there. Shane, you open up the fourth round.
All right. Going over to the AFC now. Only one receiver has been taken from the AFC. Give me Stephon Diggs, please and thank you.
Former NFC player, of course, moving to the AFC to the Bills.
Great deep threat, and I think that will be capitalized even more so this year now that he has a quarterback with arguably the strongest arm in the NFL who will actually throw it deep. Really start to be effective this year, I think.
Mm-hmm. Brandon, you're on the clock with the 11th overall pick.
Well, I already know who I'm taking. I'm taking arguably one of the most effective pickups the Seahawks have had in the last couple of years. I'm taking no. DK Metcalf, boy.
Oh, come on. Give me a break. What?
Yeah.
This is your Ryan Fitzpatrick pick of the draft.
No, it's not.
No,
that is not
it's
comparable
not that bad
at all.
No, this is a bad selection.
That is not a dude. DK Metcalf has shown so much in one season.
Let me tell you where
he is beat down all the haters who said he can't run a route. He has clicked with Russell. He has so much potential. He's going to grow. I believe he's going to make the Pro Bowl this year.
Yes, he has room to grow, but he wasn't, in terms of a statistical basis, very productive last year.
Yeah, receiver draft, not everything has to be about statistics.
That's true.
He's when he's on the field, he's someone you have to pay attention to.
There's one segment of my list where it's a bunch of guys with potential that did well statistically, kind of didn't, and that's from 25 to, let's say, 30. And then there's a segment where it's a bunch of old guys who have certainly been competitive, and then it's DK Metcalf at 35.
You are such a fool.
35?
That's such
35.
You are a weirdo for putting him at 35.
I have him at 14.
Why the hell would
14?
Dude, I don't get you, Robert.
That's reasonable.
I have Cortland Sutton above him. Cortland is such a better receiver.
11 is a little bit of a reach, but
I am shocked.
But 35?
35. I could
damn,
easily
I knew you were a hater, but damn.
I could easily put him at 28 or 29.
Wow.
And that's about as far as I can go.
Wow.
Because honestly, I think Cortland Sutton's going to be a better receiver, and
You're
he's going
gonna
to have a
put
better overall.
Chris Godwin over DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Wow.
I have Ty over him. I have Brandon Cooks
Really?
over him. I have Larry Fitzgerald over him.
Jesus.
I have Terry
Larry
McLaurin over him.
Fitzgerald?
You are. Oh my God. You obviously did not watch the same DK that I did.
He
Or I
wasn't
did.
as productive statistically enough for me to put him there.
Statistics doesn't mean everything.
It doesn't mean everything, but there's certain segments of my list where it's like potential, and he's kind of in the lower tier of potential on
So
my
basically,
list.
by putting him in at 35, you're saying he's not worth shit.
Well, not necessarily. I think he will definitely bump up the list. He can
How many
certainly bump
players
up to top 20.
How many players are there in this draft?
There's 45.
By putting him at 35, that's basically saying he's not that great.
But I'm not necessarily saying that because I do think he is very good. But I just don't think at this range or at this time I've seen enough.
Okay.
I've seen enough of him. But I'll tell you what, I think
Sure.
he can go up in the top 20 if we do
No,
this draft
sure,
again next
yeah.
year.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
That's a
Wait,
surprise pick.
you say we haven't seen enough of him yet. What about Chris Godwin?
I've seen enough. I know what I'm getting with him.
They've played the same amount.
Yeah.
Godwin's been in the league for what? He's been in the league for about 2-3 years now, has he? He wasn't a rookie.
Yeah, but he really only
He really only popped
year.
this year. He really only popped this year, but I see the potential a little bit more than Metcalf right now.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
That's a surprise. And then
okay. Well,
to finish the fourth round, I'm taking this guy is so underrated, and it makes me upset. And it burned me in fantasy this year because this guy is awesome. He deserves a lot more recognition. He's in a very small market, but I love this guy. Give me Kenny Golladay. I mean, the guy deserves so much more recognition than what he gets. And I was wrong to not draft him early in fantasy this year because, man, is he so good. He's a great route runner, great speed guy, perfect receiver for the one and only Matt Stafford. I love him. He deserves to even go higher than where I have him. Maybe I have him at 8. You could make an argument he could be a little bit higher. He's a great receiver, and he deserves more recognition. It's that simple. Are you surprised by that, Brandon?
Yeah.
I do agree that he's a bit underrated, though.
I can't believe you would say DK was equivalent to the friggin'.
To me, it feels like that considering where he's at.
No, just that's.
Especially when you have the better Seahawks receiver still on the board.
Shane, back me up here. Like that's.
The better Seahawks receiver is still on the board.
They're pretty even to me.
I don't know about that. All right, Shane, you open up the 5th round.
All right, let's see. The 5th round. I'm going to say, let's go with Keenan Allen. I think he didn't have an amazing season this last year, but it's the Chargers. None of them did.
Yeah.
But this guy, there's not one particular thing that he's really exceptional at, but he's just very good overall at pretty much everything. He's not super fast, but he's quick enough. He doesn't have the best hands, but he can make any catch. So yeah, give him a good quarterback and throw the ball his way. I think he can be pretty effective.
Do you feel like with him, if Herbert does start at some point this year, they'll have a connection really quickly and be successful?
I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. I imagine Herbert will start, so yeah, it could be.
I had him ranked at 12th, so not a bad selection there. And he's also a bit underrated as well. I think him and Galladay, certainly one of the two underrated guys in this draft. Brandon, you're on the clock with the second pick of the
Yeah.
5th round. Here are all the available receivers left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of great guys left.
I will take. I'm gonna take Juju.
Juju Smith-Schuster. What do you like about his skill set? Obviously, he wasn't that great last year with Mason Rudolph starting, but what do you like about him?
I think when he has a competent, I mean, he's like a wide receiver that, like, if he has a competent quarterback throwing to him, he's able to, like, get open. He has the hands. He's still pretty good. Yeah, he's also just a fun to watch play.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. I had him at 17. So yeah, good selection there. I finished the 5th round, and let's see who's left on the board here. Wow, I can't believe I'm gonna end up picking him. Give me Tyler Lockett.
Oh, that's such a dumb pick, huh? I had him at 32, huh?
Wow, Robert picked a Seahawk? I can't believe it.
I know, right?
I picked the 2 top Seahawks players at both of their positions, running back and receiver, in the last 2 drafts. Look, I like him. I could make an argument he could be in the top 10. It's a kind of a difficult argument considering looking at the board, but no, I like where I got him here. I think he's a great receiver. I think he's much better with Russell than many other quarterbacks, but you can easily make an argument he's a top 10 guy. Maybe. It's tough, but I do like him a lot. I thought he would be in the top 10 when I originally made my rankings, but I ended up having him at 13. So not a bad spot there. Shane, you open up the 6th.
Whew, okay. I open the 6th. Let's go Adam Thielen. This guy is the lone star receiver in Minnesota. Still left. He's been. He and Stephon Diggs have both been very key to that team, of course, and now with Diggs gone, I think his importance will be greatly noticed in Minnesota this year, and he'll be much more prominent, I believe. So, Adam Thielen.
Adam Thielen was next up on my board. I'm very excited to see how him and Justin Jefferson are going to work. I like Justin Jefferson as some kind of a Stephon Diggs prototype. Obviously, Jefferson is not eligible in this draft, but I think those two can be successful. We'll just see if Kirk Cousins can get the ball to Thielen a lot more this year. Brandon, you're on the clock for the second pick in the 6th round.
I already know who I'm going to take. I'm going to take DJ Chark Jr., and the reason being is that he's like the only good thing going in Jacksonville other than Minshew Mania. So
I still feel like
that's it.
I still feel like this may be a tiny bit high, but even
it's a little bit high, but
it's a tiny bit high. I had him at 26. The reality is I like him. I think he has so much potential. And yeah, I think you're right. I think he really is the only good thing going on that team. And I think it's definitely worthy of that selection there. So I'm a huge fan of him. I'm excited to see what he'll do next year. Not a bad selection there. At the final pick of the 6th round, let's see who's left on the board. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom.
Lots of people.
There's a lot of people. Give me Jarvis Landry. The first round off the board. Jarvis, he's the better receiver on that team. Odell, unfortunately, let's be
Odell's kind of
honest,
trash now.
the injury concerns were rough. Yeah, he'll be a lot better next year. If he is a lot better next year, he'll be above Jarvis Landry. But for right now, he is the most consistent receiver, maybe the most consistent player, or one of them, other than Nick Chubb, on this Browns team, and one of the guys I think Baker really relies on. So, Jarvis Landry to finish the 6th. Excuse me. Shane, you open up the 7th.
Well, speaking of Odell, I'm going to take him. I was honestly a bit surprised that he fell this low, but I mean, he is, he had his injury issues or concerns last year, but I'm hoping he'll get over it and start to play the way that we know him. And I don't love his behavior, which is a big reason he is a bit lower for me. But still still a pretty solid player nonetheless.
You're following my board, Shane. I had him right after Jarvis Landry, so it's a solid pick there.
We're just in sync, except for DK Metcalf.
Here's the deal. Odell fell this low partially because of the maturity issues. They could be overblown, but I think it's a huge reason, and any injury concerns. That's why he opens up the 7th, I believe. Brannan, you're on the clock here with the 2nd pick of the 7th round. We're in the 20s. Juju's off the board. There we go. My bad.
See, there's so many players I want to take, but I don't want to be judged by Robert again.
No, you take whoever you want.
Just do it.
Just
take it.
I'm just kidding.
I'll defend you, maybe.
Can you go back up?
Yeah.
Like, it's fun, just...
No, I can't.
Yeah, seriously. I'm going to take Deebo Samuel.
Deebo. Okay.
Deebo Samuel.
What excites you about Deebo?
He is... I mean, similarly to a lot of players, there's kind of a theme amongst players I've taken. He's fast, he's good hands, he has... I think he also was somebody who, like, really contributed to the 49ers last year.
Mm-hmm.
So
I look at him as quite one-dimensional. I had a tough time kind of figuring out where he fits. I ended up having him at 40, which, I'll be honest, is a little unfair to him because I like his skill set a lot. It's just I don't really know how to quantify him in a Niners system that is very keen on running the football, and we don't really know about Jimmy Garoppolo week to week. So I didn't really know how to quantify him. 40, I think, is a little bit unfair. But it's an interesting selection there nonetheless, so I don't have too much of a problem with it.
yeah, I give a lot of players benefits of the doubt when we're doing this.
Yeah. For the 21st overall pick, I'm going to take another guy who's underrated. I got an underrated theme going here, and it's going to be T.Y. Hilton. T.Y., again, injury concerns, of course, but when this guy's on the field, like, no one talks about him. I don't know if it's because not a lot of people watch the Colts. I watch every game the Colts play, as I do with every team, and I love watching him. He's just so fun. And that receiver core this year is going to be ridiculous. There's so many Colts players that didn't make this list that maybe should have in this receiving core. They have an excellent receiver core for Phillip Rivers. It's just about how Rivers is going to operate on this team. So T.Y. Hilton goes 21st. Shane, you open up the 8th.
I'm gonna go with Allen Robinson. Now he would be a bit higher for me if the quarterback situation in Chicago was not so dicey, because I feel like that really holds him back. because he does have a great pair of hands. So, I just, like I said, I think he would be a bit higher, but I can't put him way up there just because of the inconsistencies with the ball being thrown his way.
I think what was it from week 12 to week 15? He really kind of bursted onto the scene. He's their number one receiver, and I think regardless of who starts at quarterback, he's still gonna be very productive. So I like the selection. Brandon, you're on the clock here with the 23rd overall pick.
And the NFC North is gone.
Yeah, there was barely anybody in that division.
The NFC North is gone?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
The NFC South is stacked. Jeez, I just realized
I will go with... Actually, I am going to go with Robbie Anderson.
What do you like about Robbie?
I feel like Robbie Anderson is someone who was stifled by being on the team he was with.
Yeah.
And I see him as doing. I kind of wanted the Seahawks to go after him, but.
I had him pegged to the Patriots for the longest time. I like him. Again, him and Jamison Crowder are neck and neck at 33 and 34. Again, it's just the team that they're on. It's that simple. And I don't think he's going to get that many targets in Panther land, so it's going to be tough for him to move up the list next year. But not a bad selection there.
Panther land.
I finished the 8th round with Avriel Jeremiah Green, one of my favorite names to say in the NFL.
Yeah, who?
Avriel Jeremiah Green.
Oh, AJ Green.
Yep.
Oh. I've never heard him referred to
I like
that
how
way.
both of us are like, what?
Avriel Jeremiah Green. Give me AJ Green. I like him a lot. Very productive, of course. Injuries held him back last year. I had him on my fantasy team the whole year.
He's so old, though.
Bad decision, but I think he can still be productive. Joe Burrow is going to help him out a ton. He fell because he's old and because of the injuries, but I'll take him here. Let's see. Yeah, I had him at 19. Shane, you'll open up the 9th round.
I'm gonna say Julian Edelman. This guy, I don't know what to expect from him this year. But he's for the last 5 years, when he's healthy, he's a very consistent piece for the Patriots. I think he's kind of their rock at receiver. He's a great route runner, kind of a self-made guy, but that's kind of what I like about him. Jules.
Julian Edelman, again, I don't know where to quantify him because I think Brady made him a better player than anything else, but I had him at 31.
That's what I mean. I don't know what to expect from him, but yeah.
I had him at 31, so not terrible. Brandon, you're up here at 26. This board, man, the AFC West is still hot here with talent. I mean, 5 guys. That's the most from any division right now. So,
I will
5
go
guys,
with,
burgers, and fries.
Actually, I'm gonna go with Cortland Sutton.
He was my next pick.
I think he has mucho potential.
He has a lot. I love him a ton. I had him at 20. The guy's just so good. We're gonna see that receiver core is massively massively overhauled. So I don't know how his statistical basis is going to look, but I like him a lot. I'll go up here at 27. And I'm going to take Brandon Cooks. This is a guy I just feel bad for. It's heartbreaking. Honestly, it's heartbreaking because you look at his story, you look at where he came from. I mean, the Saints traded him, then the Patriots traded him. And this guy's just getting traded all over the place. And obviously, concussion concerns are there. But when the guy's healthy, he's good. I think we might be underselling him in Houston. But he's a good player, man. And he deserves a lot more recognition than he gets. He didn't get much here, but he does deserve it because when he's healthy, he can be productive. Shane, you're up at 28, starting the 10th round.
I will say, I'll say Emmanuel Sanders. Because he was a star for San Francisco last year with their very limited pass game. So, having him in New Orleans, which is Pass City, USA, with, Michael Thomas, I feel like they're going to be an incredible duo. So I'm really looking forward to what he and Drew Brees do.
Yeah, it's amazing that, well, obviously he couldn't stay with the 49ers, but for him to go to the Saints out of all teams, it's got to be gut-wrenching for Niners fans because, my God, he was such an important piece of their success last year. And to lose him to Drew Brees is insane. They're going to be really fun to watch. I ended up having him at 23. Brandon, you're on the clock with the 29th overall pick.
Indubitably. I'm going to take Larry Fitzgerald.
Next guy off my board. The only Hall of Famer on this list.
We've been doing that all day.
Yeah, I think the only
so far at least
100% Hall of Famer on this list, at least at this point. What do you like about Fitzgerald's career, Brandon?
I think that even though, it's impressive that at his age he's still able to do what he's able to do. I thought he was going to retire like a couple years ago, but he's still out there just running around.
Mm-hmm. I end this round. I'm going to take Alshon Jeffrey. The receiver core is
next on mine.
Yeah.
Really?
We're going chalk here today. The thing is, I like him. I have a tough time putting him here because I do like a lot of the guys below him on my list more than I like him, but he's been productive for so long. And he's just a huge part of Carson Wentz's success. So I'll take him here to end the 10th round. Shane, you open the 11th.
Ooh, oh boy. Give me Devontae Parker. Yeah, I think this guy is one of those players who's really talented, but stuck on not a great team. But that might be changing. I'm hopeful. I think that Miami could start to get a little better here in the next few years, and I think his worth as a player will start to become more apparent as that happens.
I loved him coming out of Louisville. Brandon's guy, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and him just were neck and neck pretty much all season. I think week 10 and on, they were just ridiculous. He's just an amazing player. He's a player I'm really excited for, not only in fantasy, but in real life. I had him at 29, so not a terrible range there. Yeah, and then him and Tua are going to be stupid fun to watch, I think. Brandon, you're on the clock with the second pick of the 11th round.
Give me Henry Ruggs.
Love his speed, huh?
Mm-hmm. Ruggs goes zoom.
Were you surprised that the Raiders picked him at where they had him?
Not really.
All right, I'm going to end the 11th round with Actually, surprisingly, I had Henry Ruggs extremely low. I had him at 43. That's more so that he's a rookie than anything else. But he'll definitely be up this list next year, no doubt. I go with one of my favorite guys. What are some words that describe him? Ferrari, fast. I can't even figure out this guy's nickname. Scary Terry, I guess, is what we like to call him.
Scary Terry? What the hell?
Terry McLaurin. He's fast.
Okay.
I mean, it's that simple. The guy's fast. The guy didn't get enough pub last year, unless you played fantasy. I mean, the guy's just ridiculous. Him and him and Haskins, they played together at Ohio State. That's probably a huge reason why their connection was so great, especially towards the tail end of last year. He's a ridiculous receiver. He's just so good at so many things. I like him a lot. He's only going to get better. And he's their number one receiver, no doubt. So, Shane, you open up the 12th.
I'm going to go with Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins.
He's certainly not what he used to be. But he's, still a solid player nonetheless. I mean, he's still pretty fast. He's, he's declined a bit, but, I think this is still a good range for him.
They were so long in his career after he was drafted by Buffalo. In his career when he was drafted by Buffalo, he kind of shifted around everywhere, couldn't really find a landing spot. He just fits what the Chiefs like to do, speedy receivers. It fits what Mahomes' style is. He's found the perfect place there, and he knows that with the contract restructuring they did after they won the Super Bowl. I had him pretty low because I have a tough time quantifying him. I actually had him 44th, but I'm totally fine with the selection here. Brandon, you're on the clock with the 35th overall pick.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna go with Calvin Ridley.
He's a guy that a lot of people are excited for. You feel the same way?
Yeah, his rookie year I had him in fantasy, and he did really well. He wasn't so hot last year, but I think he'll do pretty well this year.
Yeah, I have him. I have him at 39, but I like him a lot. He'll certainly move up the rankings next year. I'm up with the 36th overall pick, and I'm gonna take another guy that I'm really excited about, and that's AJ Brown. For the Tennessee Titans, he was very productive.
He was next on my list.
Yeah, he was very productive with Ryan Tannehill. He'll only get even more productive next year. He's their number one receiver, no question. And the receiving core is changing a lot. Their tight end core with Jonnu Smith is going to obviously change things, but I'm pretty excited to watch this offense work next year. Shane, you're on the clock in the start of the 13th round. Excuse me.
I'm going to take the man, Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Hollywood.
He's probably the fastest player on this team besides their running back Lamar Jackson, and speaking of Lamar, seeing him develop as a passer, I think is only going to improve Brown as a player. I'm not a fan of his route running, but I think that'll get better with time. So,
I had him pretty low at 41, but I like him a lot. It's just because he only had a few good games to begin the year, and then it kind of tapered off. But as you mentioned, I echo that statement. I think if Lamar works even more on his passing, it's going to be going towards Hollywood Brown. So I really like him. I think he's an underrated guy to get in fantasy. I just like him a lot, and he'll only improve as time goes on. As for a lot of these guys here.
Yeah.
Brandon, you're on the clock.
I'm taking John Brown.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills, obviously, with Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
his role will be a little bit limited, but he's a pretty good player, man. So do you think that him and Diggs are actually going to be really productive as a tandem next year?
I think one or the other will be fast. I mean, we'll do better.
Mm-hmm. And then with a 39th overall pick, let's see what I have here. Let's see, did I have? Sorry, guys, I got to look through this board because we already took a bunch of them. Wait, this guy's still on the board, huh? Give me DJ Moore. I actually can't believe he fell this far. He's their number one receiver in Pantherland. He's their guy. I mean, he was ridiculous last year. Really underrated. He's gonna be even better with Bridgewater, I think, than he was with Kyle Allen. So I'm really excited. I actually can't believe I got him. What an amazing range. So cool stuff. We're in the last 2 rounds. Shane, you open up the 14th.
Ooh, wow. Let's see. Well, it's slim pickings now, but
yeah,
I'll go with Michael Williams.
Mike Williams.
Yeah, because Keenan Allen is obviously the man down there, but Williams, he's still really good. He still has really good hands, pretty good athletically. So, he's just nice. He's a nice supporting character in a movie.
His injury concerns are rough, and I think that's why I had a tough time quantifying him, and I think that's why he landed at this spot. But when he's healthy, he's a great player. Brandon, you're on the clock.
Okay. I'm gonna take Jerry Jeudy.
Very excited to see his potential as a rookie, correct?
Yeah. A lot of my guys have just been potential based.
Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of where we're at here.
Yeah.
Give me Jameson. Oh, actually, wait. Actually, never mind. Shane, you're on the. Actually, wait. No, I'm on the clock. I'm confusing myself now.
Yeah, you're on.
I'm on, and I'm gonna take Jamison Crowder. Again, Jets kind of wrecking him a little bit, but he's a great player, man. I like him a lot. A bit older, a bit on the older side, but I'll take it. Shane, you're now on the clock.
Okay, I will take Sterling Shepard. I think he has great potential with Daniel Jones. And, I mean, he's really fast, very athletic. Not necessarily the best route runner, but, again, that's something that I think will develop in time. So Sterling Shepard for me, my last pick.
Brandon, you're on the clock. You have Brandon Ayuk or Tyler Boyd left.
Tyler Boyd.
Good pick. He fell way too low. I think I had him low in my rankings as well. He's much better than this selection shows. I like him a lot. And then we'll finish with Brandon Ayuk. Bit unfair for Ayuk. Amazing that he even found his way in this draft, I think, but deservedly so.
I was going to say there are other guys that I would have put in before him.
Right. I think you look at guys like CeeDee Lamb maybe, who probably should have found his way in this draft. But either way, we only went with 45. So I'm good with Brandon Ayuk though. So that is our draft, and that is our show for today. Great work, guys. Fun one today. We'll be back again next week, getting ready for some NBA action and some NHL action as well. So thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Shane. We'll see you all next week.